what we see with Zach is he's going to drive those hips really far forward. We just talked about that a second ago about how on the downswing, good players are going to really move their hips towards the target like that. The reason they're doing that is to move their low point forward. So when your hips go towards the target, it's going to create a downward movement through the ball, and encouraging yourself to hit the ground after the ball. So we're going to see it's also going to be a power component. You'll see that as he's doing it. So again, he's going to drive his hips forward. He's going to keep his head back, which makes his shoulder tilt down. See that movement happening? So at this point in the swing, we start to see this backward C position start to happen. Right. That's it. That means his head's staying back, his hips are going forward. And when you do that, you're moving your low point out here so that we can guarantee contact first. It also helps us create tilt, which is that shoulder going down, helps us swing into out. So at this point in the swing, we start to see this kind of flat left side wall that's hitting the ball with this kind of power component pushing it, right? Which will lead to eventually really good extension through the ball, which is my favorite position in the golf swing. If that doesn't scream I hit the ball first and I hit it pretty far, then I don't know what does, right? So you do this pretty good. Although we do get an inch and a half off the ball at the top of our swing, we needed this to be as close to 0 as possible. But it is 0.3 towards is the tour average. Same with our shoulder sway. You want to be 0.2 away, I think, or it might be 0.3 towards also. Let's see. 0.2 towards. So you're just a little bit forward, if anything. Now we got some ground to cover. We know that by the time we get down to the ball, really by the time we get to here, you can see his hips are already like 3.5. The tour average is 3.1. But I would say they're probably already 3.5 inches forward. And by the time they get to the ball, I would say they're likely to be 4. Some of your tour players, Scotty Scheffler, I think it's 6.8 inches towards. Not a coincidence that he's one of the most prolific ball strikers of all time. He hits it good every time. He does that by getting good shoulder tilt and hip sway. So we know that that's how Zach gets this full extension. What we'd like to see here is the same thing out of you. We'd like to see the head staying back, although it's already back, and the hips driving forward. So let's see if we see that. You do it pretty good. This is one of the better moves in your swing by far and wide. This part of a swing people struggle with mightily. You're at 3.0. We need 3.1. Your shoulder sway is perfect. Now your shoulder tilt is the most impressive one. It is. Honestly, it's the one that people struggle with the most. And it's what you're like very good at. So at this point in the swing, we only need 12 degrees of right. You're at 31 degrees of right. That is a lot of rightward shoulder tilt. You do this part well. It's why you're able to swing so far inside. Look at your club path being 23.6. It's probably something we need to mitigate a little bit, which normally I don't ever have to do. But we will a little bit. And look, at this point in the swing, again, one of the things that you do well, you create a lot of hip sway on the way down. You're at 3.5. We only need 30 degrees of shoulder tilt. That's why we see this nice little backwards bend. And we get a pretty good amount of extension, though our grip does make us do this little guy. A little bit of arm structure struggles, which is why contact struggles. One of the biggest reasons that we struggle to hit the ball well is the arm structure right here. And we want to see those arms extended out. Your grip is what's preventing you from doing that, and also some mechanic things. But it's going to be a combination of your leading off the ball on the way back, and then also what we're doing with our grip and our arms throughout the move, really. Because I could try and explain to you all the different positions that you're getting to and why they're weird, but it's just easier to say that the grip is forcing you into some weird ones. So as uncomfortable as it's going to be, it'll be where we start.